So I already have a background in competitive gaming.
Hmm.
We can talk about that more if you'd
Sure,
like.
sure,
So
please.
yeah, so I've been playing tournament level Magic the Gathering for about 10 years, if you're
Hmm.
familiar with that game.
I am. Yeah.
So I've done the whole competitive thing with that. I've traveled around the UK, I've gone played in
Nice.
America, played in continental Europe, I've done all that stuff. And I think one of the reasons that I've been able to be so successful is because I'm a big advocate of studying and looking at professional gameplay and just digesting all of the information from people that are just so much better than I am.
Mm, mm.
Can't really do that with Overwatch, or it's much harder to do it because if you're watching content creators, they're not playing like cutthroat competitively, they're doing it
Right,
for entertainment.
right.
And then if you're watching like the Overwatch League stuff, they'll have like the POV cam, and then it's like bird's eye, and it's flicking between all the different people. And it's like I can't really see the specifics of what's going on. I can't see like one person's eyeballs throughout the entire match.
Right.
Um, I then came across your name on a Reddit post, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll see where this rabbit hole takes me. Saw Spylo 2, and I was like,
Hmm.
this is what I'm after. This is exactly what I want to see. I think I've watched maybe the past year's worth of Tracer reviews that you've done.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Tracer
Yeah.
especially.
I'm a bit annoyed because I've run out. I need more. And so
I
this
will,
is this is
I
this
will
is
work at it.
graduation.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Actually
yeah,
applying and
yeah,
all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Makes
yeah.
sense.
If you
Makes
don't
sense.
mind, speed up the process, mate.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. Okay. So now, what got you interested in Overwatch initially, and what got you to apply yourself so competitively? You know, you have a competitive background. You know how you apply yourself to learning things competitively in general. But why
Yeah.
specifically Overwatch? And I guess along that line, why specifically Tracer?
So, so I started playing Overwatch 1. I think I played like a handful of hours with friends. I think it was purely because it was on sale. And they were like, hey, you should play it. And I was like, okay. It was like 15 quid or whatever. Bought it. I had a really good time because I really enjoyed Team Fortress 2 back in the day. And I was like, oh, this is like Team Fortress 2, but not weird and like
Right.
balance nonsense. And I realistically started playing Overwatch 2 beta, mostly playing just like Moira and Mercy because I play with
Mm.
my two friends who are like diamond level players, and my attitude was I refuse to be the guy who's being carried or at least
Mhm.
throwing. So I'm just
Mhm.
gonna play Mercy. I'm gonna stick my rod so far up your ass. I'm gonna damage boost you until you kill everyone, and then I'm like doing my job. Um, and so I just found that a lot of fun. Even just playing Mercy, I found so much fun because even though I'm not getting the limbs, I feel like I'm doing my job and I'm doing what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to do, and there's like enjoyment in that. And also because I'm not having to be so mechanically focused, I can like pay attention to everything else that's going on rather than like tunnel visioning into what's going on in front of me.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. It's
Um,
interesting. It's like Tracer Mercy is such an odd split, but it makes sense when you explain it for sure. Now, what character? We're not going to get there just yet, but what character are we going to be looking at specifically today?
it's going to be Tracer.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Continue. Sorry.
So I've been playing Tracer for maybe just shy of 2 months. Otherwise, I maybe have like 15 minutes running around in like quick play or something, but nothing like
Okay.
actually serious. Like properly playing the character, maybe just shy of 2 months. And the main reason I picked her up is because I was getting really annoyed because I was looking at the hero roster and being like, there are some characters you can play, and then there are some characters that are soft locked because I don't have the driver's license to play them.
Right.
Tracer, Doom, Ball, to an extent Genji, where we can talk about like the skill ceiling, and that's all very well and good, and that's all fantastic. But like the skill floor is really high. You have
Agreed.
to overcome a great hurdle just to play them, not even to like do anything reasonable, just to play them. Because if you pick up Tracer without any idea what you're doing, you're just going to die. Like
Yeah. Of
a
course.
thousand deaths every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever happen. So I got frustrated to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. This is a puzzle, and I'm going to solve it. And that's how I got started. But I stuck with her because I really enjoyed the strategic depth of her. The
Hmm.
idea that I can play Tracer and have a really significant impact on a team fight without getting a single limb, I think is fantastic
Hmm.
and is so interesting compared to like other heroes. Like
Hmm.
Widowmaker is so
Hmm.
boring to me. You clicked on someone's head, okay, or you didn't click on someone's head, okay, well now you're throwing. And it's like
Right.
this weird dynamic of like either you get a limbs and you're doing your job, or you don't get a limbs or you're not. Whereas with a Tracer, it's like I can be on an off angle. I'm shooting at a Zen. I don't kill him, but he's now left cover because of me. And now Arash is able to put a bullet in his head.
Right.
And then the Ant is then trying to like, oh, I need to panic and throw a grenade. And then my tank sees that, and the tank's like, okay, now I'm walking in because they don't have cooldowns anymore.
Right.
That is really interesting to me. And that's why I stick with Tracer and will happily headbutt the wall over and over again, because that's what keeps me going.
It makes me feel like it's almost like the Magic the Gathering background, where you have like just a more in-depth understanding of like in-depth strategy, right? So like you enjoy, like I'm with you on that one. Like I definitely think like I love getting kills and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, like there is definitely something to be said for just indirect value and distraction and harassment. And it feels like the more that you understand the game, the more like you can get satisfaction out of that, right? Like you can get satisfaction out of that 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Like if I get a one clip on a Tracer, that's a means to an end. It is not the reason why I'd want to play that character at all. I couldn't care less. If it takes me a million years to kill someone, I'm not actually that fast. But if I'm putting away resources and I'm making it so that certain characters can get in, like I'm trying to kill a Sim so that Genji can go in because he's terrified of the turrets and stuff. It's like that's what I'm all about. That's what I want to do.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, makes sense. Now, how long have you been playing?
So I've been playing Overwatch 2 since beta. Like I say, mostly playing as a support, kind of just playing with my friends, taking the game seriously and being like, okay, I'm going to knuckle down and figure stuff out, specifically as a DPS, just shy of 2 months. So not long at all, I think, in the grand scheme of things.
No, yeah, not long at all. Okay, makes sense. And so you're currently mostly playing Tracer. I see a little bit of Soldier 76, at least at the time of the form. And then you said a little bit of Mercy sometimes as well.
Yeah, so to be fair, I actually haven't played Mercy in ages because I'm either playing with my friends and I'm refusing to not be Tracer, or I'm playing on my own and I'm absolutely being Tracer. I only play other characters when I'm not allowed. And it's not even because of enemy comps. I will happily run Tracer into the most anti-Tracer team comp in the world. And I'll just be like, I just need to figure out how to play against them. I'm not interested in like switching unless I'm playing Circuit Royale. You cannot make me. I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. You can't make me. I'm not going to do that. I will play. I'll play any other character, even if I'm terrible with them.
Yeah.
But it's literally only in that instance, and maybe like Havana third, where it's like, okay, this is
that's a tough one too. Yeah.
First and second point, I'll make it work. Third point is like,
it's messy.
In danger.
Yeah, it's very messy. Yeah, not a lot of flanks available. Okay, so what do you hope you get out of the session? The forum says clarity on your current strengths, weaknesses, gameplay, a better understanding of how to approach Tracer 1v1s, tighten up execution of lessons already learned. Okay. Playing Tracer mostly. We talked about situations when you don't play Tracer. Are you Silver 1 at the moment?
Pretty much. I think as of right now, I'm actually Gold 4, but I'm oscillating between the two.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. Playing around 2 to 3 hours a day, 3 to 5 days per week. Okay, so how is that time split up? Is that mostly just competitive? Is that mostly just DPS? And I assume that's mostly just Tracer.
Pretty much. So in terms of a warm-up, I'll play a single game of quick play just to kind of get the blood flowing. Other than that, I'm just comp until I know that I'm not playing as good as I could be because of purely fatigue. Once I hit the fatigue wall, then it's like, I'm not going to play anymore.
Okay, lovely. It makes sense. I will recommend, if possible, you might have heard me say this in some of my other sessions, I'm sure. I would recommend trying other warm-ups if you haven't already. Deathmatch, unranked deathmatch might be a really good one to try out. It's the same time efficiency as a quick play game, maybe even faster, but there's going to be a lot more rapid engagements than quick play.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That way you don't have to worry about respawns. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, especially in terms of the combat, because I was thinking a quick play game would be good because it's making me think more about like angles and the timing and stuff. Right? I don't know if I'll necessarily get that from Deathmatch, but I can do both. I mean, that's not a problem.
And honestly, you don't necessarily need to think about that. The point of a warm-up is not for you to be thinking about your positioning and warm up your brain in terms of the competitive side of things. It's to get you mechanically warm and just in general awake. And then what you can do is you can immediately start applying yourself to thinking, because you don't necessarily need to think macro positioning strategy. You don't necessarily need to warm up with that. What you do need to do is warm up your mechanics so that you're not feeling like, oh no, I'm just missing my shots. I need to think about my shots. You need to just warm up and then strictly think about your strategy. And that way you don't need to worry about your mechanics at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that logically follows. I think that's a good point.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot. See how it goes. So unranked deathmatch would be the way to go. You're familiar with how to queue up for that, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. It's just like you would play quick play, but then it's just a different thing other than quick play. Okay. Yeah. And then you've probably heard me say in some of my reviews that I recommend taking breaks in queues. I recommend taking breaks in queues. Even just getting up from computer, that's going to allow you to keep that fatigue off for a longer period of time, and at the very least, just increase the quality of the games that you're in.
When the match thing's rolling, I'll just get up from my computer and just have a bit of a wander around, just keep an eye on the monitor to make sure that I'm not like in defense spawn and scrambling. Like
that's it. That's one of the benefits of playing Tracer, right? You get out of there faster. Okay. Ideally, would love to make it to Platinum Diamond if possible. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? I feel like my biggest struggle is taking the lessons learned from watching your other Tracer reviews and practically implementing them in the match. Okay. Yeah. Talk to me about that. What are some things that you've learned and struggled to apply?
Everything. So I think because of my background, when I watch all of your videos, everything that you've said makes a lot of sense to me, and I feel like I can really quickly digest that information, and I can log it in the old grey upstairs. The problem is when you're actually in a game and being like, okay,
right,
knowing it is meaningless until I actually put it into a game.
Right.
Because I can be like, oh, I know about angles, and I know about timing, and tracer sandwich, and eating your vegetables. Like, I can use all those words, but then you'll probably watch the view and be like, bro, you serious?
Right.
What's this? What are you doing? And I'll be like, oh, no, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
Right.
So I think it's just a case of like, it could just be play more, because I know I have the information. I just need to deploy it in game, and it could just be just play more, get more comfortable, make it happen. And then eventually things will naturally fall in place.
Absolutely. That's true. But we can accelerate that. I want to send you a video. I'm going to have you watch it later. It's very short, like 4 minutes, I think. But I want you to check this video out, and we're going to talk about the TLDR of what it means. Basically, the idea is that the fastest way to learn a skill is to practice one thing at a time, and then have a certain subsection, 25% of your playtime, where you're not practicing anything, you're just playing. So practice something, play. Practice something, play. Practice something, play. Practice something, and so on.
Yeah.
Your problem here is that you have digested. Well, actually, no, you have not digested. You have taken in a lot of information, and now you've got a big, fat, bloated belly. And you are not going to be able to use all of the nutrients that you've taken in from every single Tracer VOD review I've done over the past year, because you're not putting in enough time and you're not allowing yourself to process each detail. Like, it's not good enough to understand what Tracer sandwich means. You have to go and implement it until it starts to feel more natural to you. And if you cannot... Right. And if you cannot analyze your gameplay and point out, okay, I should have been there. And then even more so, actually be able to live do it, then you don't really necessarily need more information.
Exactly. And that's precisely why I wanted to have this session, because I can look at my gameplay and I can think in the middle of a match like, oh, I think I did this pretty well, I think. But it's like, well, how much is my opinion really worth? I'm silver/gold. Like, who cares what I think? What I need is someone who's I actually know what's going on. I want to see what you're doing. And you can specifically point out things that, because it could be maybe I've watched you say something. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to do that. But then maybe I've misunderstood what you meant. So maybe I'm implementing it from what I think is correct from my perspective. But you're like, no. What you're doing is like reasonable. What you should actually be doing is this. And I'm like, penny drop. Right. Okay.
But ultimately, it is going to be the goal to where you are self-sufficient. So of trying to think and analyze your own gameplay is very important. Let me give you an example. If I'm starting to learn how to play Magic the Gathering, I don't remember, I've played it maybe once, right? I would need to learn the turn order and what the cards do, right? And what does this signal, or what does this logo, or what does this symbol mean, right? So the first game that I would play versus you would basically just hold my hand, tell me what to do, tell me what the symbols mean, tell me the turn order, and if something randomly would happen, it wouldn't even be necessarily me playing versus you, it'd be you playing versus you, basically, right? Now, the second turn I would play, you would say, hey, nice job. Let's play again. This time I want you to focus on making sure that you remember the turn order. I'd be like, all right, I got the turn order down, but you'd still help me with the cards, but I should be able to handle the turn order. The third time I play, the fourth and the fifth time, you'd start to give me a little bit of feedback here. Okay, this game I want you to focus on making sure that you're, remember that this is the goal here. Like, you're playing this card now, but remember the goal of this card is to counter this situation. So, and you'd just give me a little feedback like that. And then ultimately, you'd want to look at me and go, hey, Spilo, what do you think you need to do better this round after that last game? And I go, yeah, I think I played this card too soon or that card too soon. And you might have some feedback for me, but you ultimately want me to be able to kind of look back in retrospection and analyze what I did. Now, what you've done is you've not necessarily followed that exact process exactly. What you've done is you've watched around 30 hours of Magic the Gathering professional tournaments with 2 months of Overwatch under your belt. That's not going to cut it, right? And and I can relate with that because I'm like you, where I love the process of learning, but I sometimes love learning so much that I ingest so much stuff that I'm not even skillful enough to apply. I just love studying, you know?
I have to admit, I am going to be so curious to see how much, like when you watch the VOD, for you to be like, you've only been playing for this amount of time, you have all this information, and just seeing how much of it's actually like coming into the gameplay.
Sure.
Because it could be, oh, you're just actually not playing very well at all, and this is why you're still silver. But it could be like, actually, you know what? You've picked this up very quickly. Not to say that like that's what my ego desires. It absolutely does. But it'd be curious to see just how quickly I've progressed in such a short amount of time, knowing the fact that I know I have like a million miles ahead of me regardless.
Sure. But remember, there's such a thing as stretching yourself too thin, right?
Yeah.
You definitely have an advantage over the average Tracer player, but you're actually at more of a disadvantage than you should be because you've gone too far.
Yeah.
That's my feedback.
I find that very easy to believe, to be honest.
That's my feedback. I mean, that may or may not be true, but that would be my educated guess, is that you've set yourself too thin. Now, gold 4 as Tracer within 2 months of play is pretty darn good. That's really, really, really good, actually. But it could be better. It could be better. And I think moving forward, you want to make sure that you're addressing this habit of where, like, if you want to study the game, if you want to learn more about the game, that's great. But at a certain point, it's not so much about how many VOD reviews that you've studied and more about how have you been able to implement that information and do it so with discipline.
Yeah.
I personally climbed a Grandmaster with like 2 coaching sessions, and most of what I learned, I taught myself when I ranked up to Grandmaster. And that's the case for most people. And that's why, like, when I recommend coaching sessions, some people are like, oh, can we do weekly sessions? And I always say no. I've done weekly sessions before. They did not go well. You don't have time. You need to coach yourself. You need to not rely off of me to answer all of your questions. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's also interesting in terms of timing because I've watched a lot of stuff, but because that well's starting to run dry and I'm not necessarily seeing stuff that's new, I definitely am like transitioning towards that kind of, okay, I have the resources. I just need to like do something with it now. So like at this point, it is very much a transition towards, okay, I have the understanding, I think, looking forward to finding out that I'm completely wrong. And then just, okay, let's make it happen. And so that could be like the new thing. Because I'm not like watching the videos again, right? I mean, I do sometimes if I'm bored or like, you know, maybe I'll watch this because maybe I've forgotten something or there's like a new thing that I can pick up that I didn't notice the first time around, that kind of thing. But, but 100% agree. It's a case of, okay, let's focus on the actual practice and the mechanics and implementation. It's like the big thing for me, which is why on the forum I said like, hey, you know, I think I have the info. I think it's just making sure that I'm applying it in a way that's not only correct, but is actually useful to the team rather than just like running around being like, hey, I'm doing all this wacky stuff.
Yep. 100%. Struggling to win 1v1s versus flankers was the last detail here. The way to win 1v1s versus flankers is just abuse your blinks. That's going to be abusing your blinks and getting mechanically comfortable. Let's put it this way. You should be able to consistently beat Tracers and Sombras in 1v1s. The only exception to that rule is if you mess up and let Sombra get a hack on you and then she hits the virus, there is a window of time where she can kill you before you recall if she hits all of her shots. Beyond that, though, it's really just a skill issue. And your ceiling is in general higher than theirs when it comes to winning that 1v1. So just keep practicing. Keep practicing and focus on your blinks would be my recommendation.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. I don't really have any other questions from your forum. Do you have any other questions for me?
I do have some kind of pre-prepared ones that we can kind of quickly go through.
Let's do it.
So it actually relates precisely to the last point you made with the flankers. So I'm a Tracer, I'm on an angle, I'm trying to deepen so I can get to the back line. Let's say in this hypothetical, it's a Genji trying to do the same thing. We meet in the middle. The idea is that we're supposed to clash. Whoever wins then earns the right to deepen their angle.
That's right.
What do I do if I'm playing against a Genji, but the Genji has a Zen Orb on them? because it doesn't feel like a 1v1, but it doesn't also feel like a 2v1 either. So how am I supposed to approach that engagement?
Good question. Zen Orb is not unstoppable. This would have been a lot tougher prior to the DPS passive, but now that you have the DPS passive, keep in mind that the Zen Orb is going to be a little bit weaker. So it's only 24 healing per second instead of 30, which adds up over the multiple seconds that a Genji 1v1 will take. So I would say if you have many health packs and health packs to play around, if you have blinks, if you have recall, take it. Take it right there. If you go, oh, I can't take this 1v1, then disengage. Basically, you should be able to win that 1v1 over time. Let's put it that way, if you play it correctly.
Sure.
If you
so
have,
I kind of just need to have a feel for it and kind of be like, can I take this fight?
Yes.
If I'm like two
Yes.
blinks down because of
Yes.
whatever reason, it's like, well,
yes,
this is never going to happen.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where because he has a slight advantage over you, it's not that important. If you can win the 1v1, great. If you don't, live it, take the resource trade, whatever. It's just a minor thing.
I think what you said is really interesting because you say that it's like a minor advantage, but in my head, I'm thinking that's like a significant advantage where I'm not sure if I can necessarily overcome it. But if you're, from your expertise, being like, hey, no, you actually can.
It's not quite a 2v1. Let's put it this way. It's not quite a 2v1. So it is winnable for you. It is winnable for you. Just see how he goes. See if he hits your shots. See if he misses his shots. Right? See how it goes.
Sure. Another question I had was with stats. I know stats don't paint a full picture, but I imagine they do demonstrate something. And I feel like semi-consistently, I tend to have the least damage in the lobby. And I'm not sure if it's because Trace is kind of a low damage character and she's not supposed to have high stats, or if it's like this is actually kind of a signal that maybe there's something that I need to look into in terms of my gameplay.
Well, we're about to look at your gameplay regardless. We don't need your stats to tell me that you need to work on something. Let's put it this way. If you're not top 500, there's something wrong with your gameplay.
Hell yeah.
So we don't need stats to tell us that.
Perfect.
Now, what you might want to be like is, well, what did the stats tell me? And that's where, unfortunately, the stats just aren't enough. We don't know. You might be low in damage because you're high in deaths. You might be low in damage because you're passive, your timing's wrong. You might be low in damage because your blink management is poor, and so you end up having to disengage 1v1s quickly. There's literally 20 different things that could lead to low damage. But if you're not top 500, there's something wrong with your gameplay. So we'll find out.
Yeah, makes sense. It's just too ethereal to like narrow it down to anything else. Sure. Trace is a relatively independent character. How independent is independent? Because I feel like sometimes I'm playing with supports that refuse to believe that I exist, and they genuinely believe they're on a team of 4 people. Like I stand next to a support and be like, "Can you heal me, please?" And they just refuse. Yep. And I'm like, "Is this me being silly and being like, no, I should be looking after myself more?" Or is it like, no, they do need to heal me sometimes, not all the time, but they do sometimes need to be like, hey, there is a Tracer that needs a bit of a top up before she can wind up and go again.
Give them opportunities to support and then assume the worst. It's just a life advantage. Assume the best people, but prepare for the worst.
Sure.
That's it. So always have health packs in mind, always have cover in mind, never go back to your team unless absolutely there's no other option available. And just live off of health packs and the heal passive that you now have. As you rank up, you will play with supports that have a better understanding of the game and will spend more time not only supporting you with healing, but actually playing with you on flanks. But in the meantime, do your thing.
Yeah, I think that tracks with a lot of what I've been doing, which is nice. So I don't feel like I'm missing anything on that regard. So that's good to hear.
But also keep in mind at your rank as well, they might understand less about how to help you. But that also means the enemy supports are going to be a lot less aware of where you are. So like you benefit and suffer from silver and gold habits, right? Just like you'll benefit and suffer from platinum habits and diamond habits where people will be more willing to help you, but also people are not going to be caught off guard by you as often.
Yeah, it always cuts both ways. Sure. So when I play, especially now because of Season 9, like I said, I have 2 friends that are roughly diamond level players. I think one of them could actually push Masters if they really applied themselves. And we're often in Discord and it's a 3-stack and we're playing. Can you think of any kind of general tips that would be able to improve communication? Because first of all, I feel like I clam up a lot because I'm trying to focus so much on the mental load of playing the character. I don't say anything at all. And I'm wondering, in general, if I was to say something and be good with communication, what kind of things should I be saying?
When you're pressuring, that's it. Support? When you're setting up and when you're pressuring, that's it. When you need time and when it's time to go. That's it.
I love easy answers.
Yeah.
Lovely. 2 more things. 1, I'm getting that feel-good feeling when I force the enemy DPS to switch to a Cass because I feel like I've annoyed them so much where they have to deal with me.
Yep.
But now I'm having to start playing against a Cass. It's I tend to struggle with that heat-seeking, ultrasonic, blink-chasing grenade of his, and it's I feel like if there's like a trick or like a dynamic that I'm just not aware of, or if it's a bad matchup, maybe just avoid him and go for other people and just hope that he's slow little plodding footsteps isn't able to catch up with me.
Very simple. It's the same thing when people ask me, how do I block Reinhardt Shatter as a Reinhardt? I say, know he has it. And remember, don't forget that he has it. That's it. When you go into that 1v1 and you're thinking, Cass has nade, you will position differently with your cover. You will time things well, so when he's distracted. You will you'll go, I just saw him use it. You will use your blinks differently. I do know that it's tricky with blinks, but it is dodgeable. And if you make a mistake, it will be a mistake of mechanics. Oh, I didn't blink fast enough. I knew it was coming, but I didn't blink fast enough, right? Which will be improved by practice. Worst thing you could do.
So many examples where I'm not blinking fast enough, and I'm just like,
right. And if you're only dying because you didn't blink fast enough, but you did know it was coming, then you're good. Keep practicing. You don't need to think about it anymore. If you die because you forgot, that needs to be addressed.
Sure. Yeah, I'm into that.
Mechanical mistakes or whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, for sure. Last question. What do I do if I'm playing with a tank that's playing really passively? Because I've had some games where I'm on the off angle, I'm ready to go, I'm looking for the engage, like, hey, I'm waiting for this. The specific example I have is with Eichenwald. We're playing with a Doomfist. He's underneath the bridge in the choke, and he's just blocking. And I'm not joking, for like 30 seconds, me and my friends are looking at him just like, are you going to go? What's happening?
Is he distracting the enemy team by standing there and blocking?
I don't think so, because I think they're all kind of just stacked up, looking at him and kind of just poking
him out. Right? Looking at him. That's what you need.
Sure. Okay.
That's what you need. It's not optimal, but people looking at a Doomfist is tanking for you. That's good enough.
So just the shifting of eyeballs is enough for me to do something, and then hopefully that then enables him because they're looking.
You want Doomfist to go in as a distraction, but a Doomfist standing there and blocking is also a distraction. Use it.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's not optimal, but it's good enough.
I suppose it's just making the best of a bad situation in instances like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm good to watch and cringe at my gameplay if you are.
I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
You don't have to cringe. You can leave that to me.
Okay, I will do that. I might grunt or make other noises, or whine and laugh.
Perfect.
Mock.
Whoa. Hey. Whoa. Hold on.
Productive mocking, like, haha, you suck, and here's why. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Excellent. Right. Coach time.
Yes, sir.
So, I'll just read it out to you if that's okay.
Works for me.
So, November Sierra Whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Echo Charlie Whiskey.
Got it.
So, the one thing I will say, just to give you a bit of context with this, so I am playing with my friends. I'm playing as a widow purely for a meme. I do change, I swear. Yeah, look at me go. This was either the last match of the evening or the second to last, so there is going to be fatigue involved in here. So I'm sure I'm going to be making plays that are just like, what on earth am I doing?
Okay, sounds good. Let's take a look. Now, how often do you stack with your friends?
Honestly, I stack with them where I can, but I'm more than happy to play on my own.
Sure. I would say solo queue, best value, just because you can solely focus on what you need to be doing better. So if you were to find some way to structure it better, I would try to get my solo queue done. Eat your vegetables first, if possible. Nom. Even if just for a couple of games. But stacking is fun. If you enjoy the game because you're stacking with friends, you don't want to necessarily isolate yourself into the most competitive, integrity-minded way of training if it's just not as fun. So find the balance there. Keep stacking, keep having fun. But if you find time to solo, keep that in mind as well. And also keep in mind that you might be improving at a disproportionate rate in your friends, which means that you will be boosting them. Did you know that you could boost your friends even if you're lower ranked than they are? Let me give you an example. Your friends, or maybe you're plat, and you're gold 5. Let's say you're actually gold 2, but they're not doing so well. You will play like a gold 2 player, and the game thinks you're gold 5. And so if you only play with them, you will boost them up. You will win a disproportionate amount of games, and you will boost them up to, like, let's say Diamond 5, just as a lower rank player.
Interesting.
So my point is that do rely on solo queue whenever you can, but don't sabotage your fun. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I will play regardless. And if my friends, because what I'll do is I'll tend to be in Discord, I'll stream so other people can watch me, and I'll play on my own. And then they'll be like, hey, do you want to play together? I'll be like, yeah, sure. And then we'll play either me or someone else or all three of us. So I'll play regardless, whether it's single on my own where I can properly dial in, like you say, or just do stuff like this where we are all very sweaty. Doesn't mean it will win.
That's okay. Not. Sure. Okay, let's take a look here. What are you doing that you're not doing? Or what do you know that you're not doing? Oh my goodness gracious.
Welcome to my world.
Spray the area. Spray the area.
I remember this bit. I was so mad with myself because I was like, I swear to God I just heard a Sombra. But I was like, I don't know. And then, yeah. And then I think someone said it and I was like,
wait for it. Not even aiming for you. Now, I will say that the unfortunate thing here is what's the weakness out of the angle that you chose? Where are you right now? Do you see?
Yeah, I suppose they're all looking the same direction.
That's it.
Just the tank.
Directly behind your tank. And that's actually what kills you. It's actually not even the Sombra. It's actually the Lucio aiming for your tank, missing, and then double-headed shotting you.
Yeah.
So I think this rollout is okay. But as soon as you see that, okay, we're fighting here, it might be worth the rotate where.
Yeah, I should definitely go through the doorway on the other side.
You got it.
Start wrapping around to high ground.
You got it.
I tend to default to this one, mostly because in the rank that I'm at, I feel like a lot of people, they're just purely focused on that kind of trade, like right there. And so I can just go get them from the side. I've found so much success just poking people from that angle.
Yep. But, it's good. It's a good angle. It's a good angle. You know, it is a good angle. So it just, you know, it's just with what you're given, how do you adjust your positioning? You can't just, oh, this is a good angle. I stay here always. Okay, what are they doing? Where do I need to go now?
Yeah, for sure.
Because honestly, I think the play is to go the same way, honestly. Just to then rotate from here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because to get to that other angle, I kind of have to go through that main archway, and I feel like there are too many people looking there already. So it's like, I'm just going to go this way.
This looks good to me. You went with your ram, then you split off, took the angle here. Looks good to me. Let's go. Good target priority here as well. Love to see it. Nice. Well done. Very good fight from you. You did the positioning thing well, and then you just win. So there you go. Love to see it. Now, this is a really fun comp to play into as well, because there's nothing here that you can assassinate, but you could actually make this Doomfist, Sombra, Genji's lives miserable, because you just basically prevent them from ever taking any flanks.
Yeah. And that kind of plays into the thing I was saying about like making sure that I'm able to be good with the flankers on my own. I feel like I'm doing better at it than when I wrote the form, but naturally with the improvement.
What's going on right now? Where should you be?
So what I was doing is trying to make sure that the cart can push because everyone else was kind of scattered away, and I wanted to make sure progress was being made. Sure. I know.
Where should you be?
I should probably just be pushing up and trying to contest. Where? So I can take an angle around the boathouse, right? So go that way, then go through. Yeah, then I can rotate up there, and I can either attack from that angle, or I can take me to the staircase. I can go left. I can go through where the mega is. There is a mega in there, right?
Yeah. This is great. Yeah. You got it.
In my mind, I'm thinking, if I can have two people on the cart and make sure that gets pushed, and then at some point I then start to split off. That was my thinking.
Right, but the fight is starting now and has been going on for some time. So the longer that you spend time on main when the fight has already started, case in point, like 10 seconds ago, the less value that you're contributing.
Sure.
I understand your logic, but the problem is that by the time you get to this angle, you see you're hesitating because the fight feels like it's already, people have already died, right? It's too late now. It's too late now. So part of Tracer is not just being on the angle, but setting up on the angle so that when the fight starts, you're not late.
Sure.
I want to point out, this is the second time when I asked, hey, your positioning sucks, where should you be? You're like, oh, well, obviously here. You're right, both times. So
Because I think I know where I could be when you ask. I think it's a case of, in that specific instance, like, this is the reason why I'm not doing this.
Right,
At
right,
which point
right.
you can say to me, well, you're
Right.
being a big dum-dum. And I'll
Right,
just agree and say,
exactly.
yeah, fair enough.
So you could correctly assess where I should have been, but then come up with a reason why you weren't. So we need to address, why are you not taking the positions you know you should be on? And for right now, I think it's, first off, it was not, the first attack was like not noticing that, hey, my tank is right next to me. I'm staying on top of my tank. I need to adjust. And then this one was not thinking, oh, the fight's starting. I need to go. You're like, oh, I got time. No, you don't have time. You need to set up now.
Sure.
Good. Just keep shooting. Just keep shooting.
I think that pulse one was medium.
It was bad because she has translocator and fade and such, but the timing, the angle, it's fine. Like, you have to understand that right now, like, I'm sure there's some people that are like, oh, you should have told them, don't throw the pulse spawn into a Sombra. You'll learn. But you know what I'm pleased about? You're on an off angle, and you got cover, and you got a mega health back, and you're pushing at the same time as your team. Your fundamentals are exceptional right now. So, guess what? When your fundamentals are exceptional, she doesn't even have time to react because she's too busy thinking about the front line. She doesn't even know that you're there, right? So even when your micro is bad, if your macro is good, you'll win. Your micro will get better with time.
I certainly hope so.
It will. It will. Kill the Doom. Good. Good. Very good.
The one thing I hate with Doom is that he's like on one side of me, and then I'll blink, and then he's gone somewhere else. I'm just like, where's he gone? I find that happens all the time.
Yeah, it happens. It
where
happens.
is
If it makes you feel any better, this skill, this 1v1 scales really, really well in your favor, the better you get. Even as Doomfists get better, as Tracers get better, your 1v1 versus this guy gets rougher and rougher and rougher for him. Same thing with the Genji Sombra, but even more so.
Yeah, because I think at one point I just like blinked in front of him, and he's just like right next to me with his fist just like pulled up, and just
Yep.
like, oh!
You got it. You got it. Where should you go? Not here.
Not
Where should you
there.
go right now?
I could blink towards the Moira, maybe try and go through that angle.
Like
I
here?
don't know if that. Yeah, and make her maybe like turn around to me so she isn't able to use her beam
Sure.
effectively.
Sure.
Maybe.
Maybe even go back to the same room that you were in. Or then take it from here and deep into here, right? Just not. You ready for the word? No W key down main.
Yeah.
You see? That being said, you started off that fight, I would say 60% of that fight, 70% of that fight, you were positioned well. And so you win again. Well done. And there's a mega right here. All right.
I had no idea.
That's all right. Where should you go right now? You have options. You have so many options, actually. Where should you go?
I'm almost certain that I blink to the right, and I don't know if I go around the thing or
This
if
is
I
a waste
go
of time.
through.
This is a waste of time. So where should you go at this exact frame right now? You said you wanted to go here?
I think I did because of where the enemy was. I'm guessing that's still a good angle because this is the way
good.
I wanted to
This is
go.
good. You're a little late. And why are you late?
Because I should have just gone straight away rather than engage the Doom. I should have just ignored him, immediately went for the positioning.
Well, why are you late here? Let's go back a little bit. You see? What's happening right now on the battlefield?
So everyone's setting up. I'm kind of going in for the engage.
Right, you're going by yourself. You see a timing issue here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 people looking at you. The Genji shows up, but you and your Genji are trolling. Nothing's happening. So then you get your health lost, and because you don't know the map, you don't grab the Mega. And because you don't grab the Mega, you go back to your Ana. And because you go back to your Ana, you're not set up on an angle. And so then when you set up on an angle, honestly here, it might have been better to just take an angle here and shoot from here, because this angle took way too long to set up. You see this? But imagine,
I don't use that inside StarCraft area not as much as I probably should.
but the big issue here was you took damage before the fight started. And so then you weren't there when the fight actually started. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. Okay. Good. Fight starting now. Let's go. Get her. Get her. You got it. Oh, You almost got her. That was actually really impressive. You almost blink melee her. I saw that. Wait.
I've done an interesting bind.
That's pretty impressive for like a Gold Tracer to almost hit that. Go ahead.
One of the things that I realized is that I took away because I don't know if you probably do know this, but the initial bindings for Tracer has it that blinks on left click or right click.
Should be right click. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that kept on really annoying me because I go to shoot someone and I'm accidentally blinking ahead. I'm just like, this is completely unacceptable. So I realized what I might actually do is put melee on the other mouse button because I'm thinking like they could both kind of like damagey buttons, and I feel like it might help with the movement.
Sure.
So I'm just like a finger away from the WASD to do stuff.
Sure.
And so I'm trying to fold more of this into my gameplay.
Yeah, experiment more with it. This is good. This is good. I think you should be proud of this. Like, this is a little bit unfortunate because, right, you get smoked. But honestly, like, this is one of those situations where you took a good angle, you took a good 1v1, you just messed with the micro. That's okay. Take an angle. Let's go. Where should you go?
Probably go left and go
you got it.
behind.
Right there. You could even shoot a Sombra. You don't necessarily need to go for backline here. I just want to see you on an angle. I don't care where it is. Let's go. That's fine too. But certainly now, let's go. You chase him or wrap around your right flank here. Good. Yeah, get her. Good. Get her. Yeah, nice. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's okay.
I've done a couple of spy checks in my time.
Yeah. Where should you go?
Where should I go?
You got time, right? Got a couple of seconds here, so where should you go?
My gut says that I want to blink towards that little kiosk thing over there. I think that's where I go.
It's definitely where you should be. Because then once you're here, you can shoot, harass, distract. You can deepen here, or you can just stand here and shoot tank. And here we go.
I think I went there, but I walked off a little bit because of the distance, right?
Yeah. That's all right. They popped 2 ultimates, double supportal, and you guys didn't have anything in time. It was good. It's good. Sure.
In that particular moment, I remember very vividly thinking, I don't know if I should have recalled that because my supports are near me, and also her cooldown is a lot faster than mine. So I don't know if that's like just a disadvantageous use of abilities.
Yeah, mostly because your supports are there. Yeah, probably not necessary, but it's also not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because you also were able to get back on the angle and shoot. Go ahead.
Half a second later, I was like, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, probably should have waited. Probably should have waited. That's all right. I hope that you're getting the feeling here that this is really simple. Like, we're not sweating details too much. At your level right now, I want to make sure that you're on an angle, that you're shooting at the right time, and that you're not completely trolling. Details like, should you pull Smama Sombra that has translocators? Should you recall Virus, right? When it's not necessary. What angle is actually the best angle versus this angle versus that angle, and when should you pull Swamp? I don't care about that stuff so much right now. I want to make sure that your feet are on solid ground, and I want you to figure out the details moving forward.
Sure. I'm into it.
And right now, we've seen 50-50. Sometimes good angles, sometimes really, really bad angles. Sometimes poking a little bit early, sometimes poking at good timing. And I want to address those weak points. Good?
That kid, you caught me off. I was like, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah.
Go away, you.
Sombra. What do you think of this angle here?
I think it's a bit too out in the open.
Okay.
I don't know if there's
what are your alternatives?
Cover. I could blink to the right so that I have that kind of little pillar thing, maybe the rocks, but I don't know if that puts a bit too much distance.
Like over here?
Planets. Maybe.
Could be okay. I think your angle is okay here. It's okay. It's good enough. If you have to sit there and sweat and squirm for more than 5 or 10 seconds, then your positioning's fine. Nice. And there you go. Tracer Overwatch.
We did it. I won the video game.
You did. Congratulations. Enjoy your Grandmaster title. Oh, you do? Oh, that's unfortunate. Your Grandmaster title is now revoked.
have to pay for another coaching session.
You do, actually, yes. And this one is now triple the price, and so on. It's exponential. The one after that is 9 times, 27 times, and then after that one, you don't even want to know how expensive it is.
Yes. Supporting the economy.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly how it works. Pay me money or supporting the economy. Okay. Good. Angle. Shoot. Keep shooting.
I was going to really go in for that Genji, but the moment I saw him go to full health, I was like, no, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
Because he was
he got
so
the
low,
Mega.
he must have
That's
hit
all
the
right.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, what should you do here? They have used beat. Oh no, they're walking forward. Where's your angle now? Tricky, isn't it?
So if I go into the little staircasey thing, I can kind of LOS them in terms of sight lines, but I feel like I'm really easy to force out. I don't like being there because
potentially
I just don't feel like I can disengage very well. If I go through that doorway, I feel like they're just going to instantly chase me because I've used a blink to get closer to them.
That's true. That's true.
Queen
That's
just
true.
bonk you on the head with her axe.
Are you on an off angle right now?
No.
Kind of, sort of, not really, right? So even if you used one blink here and you're like, oh no, they could chase me, still better than where you're at right now.
Yeah. I think it's because in my mind, I don't know if I was actually thinking this, but when I look at it now, I think to myself, if I was to blink there, I'd only have 2 blinks left. And if they push me, I've only got 2 blinks to then get away. So is it better for me to kind of just be where I am?
Is 2 blinks enough?
I'm not sure. I suppose probably,
Go find out.
Right?
Go find out. Probably. I mean, if it was 0 blinks, we could probably say, yeah, no. But 2 blinks? I don't know. Go try out. When you're not in an off angle, is it worth it to use a blink to set up an off angle if you have 2 blinks? I don't know. Go find out.
Yeah. I think if you used to say to me that I probably make like reasonable decisions, but it just takes me too long to make them, I can probably find that really easy to believe.
And how do you speed up that process?
Just playing more.
No. Yes and no. Practice making those decisions while you're playing over and over and over again. If you jumped into the ranked game after this session and all you did was think about what angle should I be playing, what angle should I be playing right now, what angle I should be playing right now, you're practicing what you need to practice to speed up that process.
Yeah, so I should have elaborated, like actually think about it more. I was just thinking, like,
right, exactly.
Playing the game is how I'm going to get better.
Exactly,
not,
exactly.
Doing what I've done before.
Exactly, exactly. And to the point, remember, like, we're only focusing on your blink or your positioning, the angles that you're taking. We're not really concerned about your pulse bombs, your target priority, or your blink management, and so on. We just want to see what position should you take. That's it. There you go.
I didn't blink into the wall. It's fine.
That's all right. It happens to the best of us. Where should you go?
It's the same position as before, isn't it? I suppose
it is. It is.
Just that staircase again. Yeah,
but you'd have only one blink. Would this be okay?
Absolutely not.
So should
if I
you
only have
wait
one
for
blink
your
left, then I'd just instantly recall because they'll just look at me straight away.
Right. So should you just chill here and wait till your next blink and then go for the angle?
Possibly. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure because when it comes to this part of the map, I'm like, it's a bit tighter than it normally is, so I'm not entirely sure what would be the best approach.
It is. But this is where you have to experiment more, right? You have to find out. Like, I'm going to go and give you the answer for this one, okay? Because your ball has slammed in with mines, you will be able to take this angle safely. If your ball had not gone in with mines, then they would have chased you. But they can't chase you now because ball's in with mines. You blink here, you're going to be fine. And then from here, you can continue to shoot pepper, and then you can even wrap around from here if you'd like to, okay?
Because they can't walk onto me because they're just walking through the minefield.
Because they're walking through the minefield, right? Your ball has created space for you, all right?
I wouldn't have seen that. If you didn't say that to me, I probably wouldn't have thought about that at all.
But that's okay. That's experience, right? My point here is, though, that the answers are not always super simple, but you need to start practicing thinking about them in the moment.
Yeah.
If your plan here is to wait until I have close to my third blink, then I'm going to blink across to here, or then I'm going to double blink to here and take the angle here because this is something I want to try. And this is your strategy. I have a strategy about which angle I'm going to take. I'm going to try it and see how it works. And if you did that and it failed miserably, I'm still applauding you because you're thinking, you're problem solving, and you're thinking about your positioning specifically, right? Good stuff. Now you know better. Hey, you can't double blink through here, or maybe you can't blink through here, or maybe you can blink through here, or and so on, right? What I don't want you to do is just play.
Yeah. Which I think I'm definitely at risk of, specifically in a game like this, because like I said, it was getting to the end of the evening, whereas like I'm probably not as sharp as I would have otherwise been, and I'm being a bit more autopilot-y with an autopilot that isn't
exactly
particularly good.
It's very easy to get trigger target happy with Tracer, where you just kind of run around and just chase targets and just blink around and chase them, but you never actually put in the time to set yourself up on solid ground. And I think that would be something that you'd benefit immensely from. Wait, this fight is still going on. I thought you guys had lost it. Wait, no. Yes, that is it. Wait, you guys capped? Wait a second.
Wait.
I was a doubter. I did not think it was going to happen. All right, I got to see the stick here. Where should you be?
I would prefer to be on the other side of that brick wall.
You got it. Right from here. Much easier to stick from here. Much better cover as well. Also means you don't get carnaged, right? See that? You got chopped.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It's just like the Lucio headshots. Accidents happen when you're standing around payload.
Not happy accidents either.
Not happy accidents either. Just like my mother said.
D. We don't actually cap this, do we? I don't actually remember.
You do.
I suppose it must have been because we went to overtime.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, any questions so far?
Honestly, no. I think as a lot of it is just everything that I thought this VOD review would be is pretty much happened, which is I think I have the ideas. I think it's just the execution that's lacking. And I think this kind of comes down to my background, where it's like I have the time to sit there and analyze all of the information in front of me and be like, okay, based on all of this, I can then do something. But in this game, obviously, I don't have that kind of time, so I have to be like, I just have to do things faster.
Is there a timer system in Magic the Gathering competitively?
You have 50 minutes to do a best of 3.
Right. So there is some sort of acceleration, but you do have time to analyze each decision within reason, right?
Yeah,
and as you said here,
people play really slow, but yeah.
Right. As you said here, that time is not always available. So what you have to do is like, imagine that you were playing speed chess, right? Or speed Magic. Like you had essentially 5 seconds for each turn. You would have to isolate skills to work on because you wouldn't have time to analyze the board.
Because I think what's happening is like in some of the instances where you're like, what angle should I take? And I'm not taking it until like a second later is I think I'm standing there, I'm looking at everything to work out where I should be based on what I'm seeing. It's like, it's
that's it, exactly.
Fine. Just, I'd rather you prefer that I'd do it earlier.
Prefer you do it earlier, exactly. And also, I want you to isolate these skills is the key thing. I don't want you to just play and improve. I want you to isolate your pre-fight positioning decision as a skill that you practice right now.
Yeah.
And you're doing it right now. Great. But you missed.
Sometimes it feels easier. Sometimes it's like, I
it's
just don't
easy
feel
now.
like I'm in that proper...
Yeah, you had 60 seconds. 60
Yeah.
seconds, right? But you're not always going to have 60 seconds. Can you do it in 10?
Sometimes.
Right? And there's also been times as well, like if we go all the way to third point here, right? Remember when you're coming out of spawn, you immediately had people that you could shoot. It takes an act of discipline, an act of will to say, I will not shoot this guy and instead set up on a flank. Right?
Yeah.
Get her. Good. Good. I mean, your team is dying, but frankly, this is great from you. This is how things go sometimes. You play well, you pop off. You play well, your team chokes. It is what it is. Here, I just would have... I honestly probably could have just disengaged that and hit over here. Maybe retouched. Lived on the back line. I think you're okay, but okay. All right, Now you have to make a decision. You know Doomfist is right here. You could sit here and shoot this Doomfist. Why don't you? Come on. It's like the call of the sirens. Come, shoot us, shoot us. But what should you be doing instead?
Oh, I'll shoot them. Just not from here.
Right.
Because I'm a smart boy and I take an off angle and I time my engage properly.
All right, let's see it. Right, Shirley. You jiggle, you're dancing. I don't know, part of this is concern about the Sombra, but you need to go here.
I know what this is.
Tell me.
It's my team is right here. Their team is right there. This fight's about to start. If I start rotating now, I might just take myself out of the fight and not actually doing anything productive, at which point it's just a 4v5 because of what I have done. Whereas if I stay here, it's awkward, but at least I'm doing something rather than nothing.
True. But you can do it now if you hurry. You have to go now.
Yeah.
And here's another
That's
question.
literally me being like, can I go? And then look back.
And here's
it's
another
someone
question.
forward, I'm like,
Is there another angle that you could take that doesn't take quite so long to set up?
I suppose I could have blinked through that doorway.
Bingo.
Mm.
So this is where have you heard of Awkward, the coach?
I have, yeah.
And he talks a lot about this. One of the things that he does not like is taking the time to set up D flanks, and then he likes uptime, right? Uptime. I don't always agree with a lot of what he says. But if you are going to do this and set up a long time, it might not be worth it. It might be better to just blink here and set up your angle and just start prepping here. That's fine. But you always have an angle. This
I think
is no good.
That's what I should have done. Yeah, I should have gone through that doorway because I'm thinking like, I want to rotate and have an angle, and I'm thinking, well, to do that, I need to go this way. I wasn't thinking, well, there is another angle I can actually take. It's not nearly as.
This is okay.
Difficult. I'm pretty sure I get bamboozled here. Yep.
You get wonked. You had died with 2 blinks. I want you to focus a little bit more on your movement here. So you're just kind of like focusing on your aim here, but you have 3 blinks. Use the blinks. Here's what I want you to think about. When she's looking at you, if you have 3 blinks, use a blink. Make her turn her crosshair. And while she's turning her crosshair, what are you doing?
Shooting her.
Shooting her. Then she turns her crosshair and starts to shoot at you. Then what do you do?
I could probably just blink to the same place I was
Blink
before.
to the same place. Then while she turns her crosshair, what are you doing?
3 times the charm.
You got it. Shooting again. Then she turns her crosshair. Then you blink again. And then she shoots. And then now you're out of blinks. Or maybe you have one more blink. She turns her crosshair. You blink again. You shoot again. And then then you start to strafe and shoot. And then she hits a shot. Then you recall. And then she turns her crosshair. And then you blink again. You kind of get what I'm saying? That's the cycle. And that's not just how you play versus Kiriko. That's how you play versus every character. That's not the whole picture, but that's the basics of the picture. Your job is not to sit here and play games. If you die with 2 blinks, you should slap yourself upside the face.
I probably should have to wake me up because normally I do that. And normally I'm like blinking around like an Anna to like donk him around. But I think in this instance, this is just me looking at this going, I know better. I have done better in the past. This just isn't good enough.
Right. Yeah. That's it. You're blink. Focus on your movement first, then you aim afterwards. Make them move their crosshair. That's when you shoot. That's the general goal. Get her. Nice.
You can have
good.
Hacky lady.
Ooh. Okay.
Everything's fine.
That was pretty cheeky here. You're a little early here.
I was just say rude.
Yeah, you're a little early here, just based on where your hog is positioned, but it's all right. Get him. Hog's in. Don't chase. Where should you go? He's out. Where'd he go?
Should turn to the right.
You got it. You got it. You got it. He gave up the angle. You won it. Congratulations. Celebrate. Don't chase him here.
Yeah.
This is good. Nice. Again, maybe not the best target, but love the angle that you were on.
Saw a one body and just went for it.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right.
Found him.
There you go. Congratulations. All right. Might recall that just to stay on that angle, you know?
There are certain instances where I don't recall because I feel like I can get to a health pack just in time. I have been punished a lot, specifically by Moiras. So I think that's probably what this is a bit of. Like, can I keep my recall if I just use my blinks, get to a health pack, and then do something else?
What's more important, keeping your recall or keeping your off angle? Tricky, isn't it? Tricky, isn't it? There isn't a right answer. There isn't a right answer is the answer. All right. You have to make that judgment, though. Because if you recall here, you're going to have 2 or 3 blinks, and you have ways of playing around this duel. But if you try to greed your recall, like you said, not only is there a real chance that you die here during this crossing, you should have died there, but also now you've kind of lost the angle that you wanted, right? Doesn't mean that this angle is bad, but you got to make that decision.
I think it's because I saw the Genji, and I'm like, this is too much. Like, this has scared me. I think He's got me by the short and curlies. I'm just gonna have to accept the other move on with my life.
But the reality of the situation is that sometimes running away from duel and the way that you did it, which is running right through the middle of the enemy team, is what's going to kill you.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, like, let's say, greed your recall here, where should you have run to instead?
It's only because you went third person that I realized that there's a mini underneath me that I just didn't even think about at all.
You got
so
it.
I could have just dropped down and gone for
You
that
could have even
instead.
run this way, right? Even run this way. Run to the side. Don't run through the enemy team towards your team. You see that?
Yeah, that's the panic, being like, I need to get to safety as soon as
And that's
possible.
the ready for it? Tracer sandwich.
No, you can't do this to me.
You did the thing.
No, but I understand it in my brain. That means I never make that mistake ever.
That's exactly it.
Ignore the recording. Fake news.
That's exactly. Yeah, this is just GG's go next. Okay. Unfortunate. We're staggering a little bit. Don't die. Oh, you did the thing. That was a pretty clean play from that Genji here. Let's take a look at this. Because I know it's exactly what you want to see today is the Genji highlights.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that was clean.
I've had that happen a couple of times where Genji just goes like dash, melee, the three things. I'm just like, oh, fair enough.
Okay. Oh, chaos. Where should you go?
So do I want to stay here? I suppose it's because we are having a fight here, even though we are right in front of spawn.
Yeah.
So
Are you on an
probably
off angle?
Not currently, no.
No, wait a second. Where is your Orisa? Where is your Genji? You see it?
Interesting. Okay.
It's technically an off angle here. So should you
Sure.
stay here, or should you deepen and go for backline here? What do you think?
I think I should deepen, but at this point, I'm just concerned that someone's going to come out of spawn and just instantly kill me.
I mean, that gives me all the more reason to deepen, right? Because you got your back turned to it. Whereas here, you have at least a little bit of space, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Don't overthink this one. The reality of the situation is I'm more looking for you to recognize the fact that this positioning is okay. Because it's an angle. If you want to deepen, great. But this is okay.
I'll be interested to know what I actually do, because I think, yeah,
It's fine.
because I think I go around.
Bit of an early recall there. Right? Especially considering the amount of blinks that you had there.
Why did I recall that? I wonder if it was
All
a
right.
fat finger.
I think a little bit of a health awareness, potentially. I think you felt like you were lower than you actually were.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Because she was shooting you for a while. She just missed every shot. I need to disengage here. Can you live? You cannot. Okay. Let's keep going. Where should you be? Where should you go? What do you think? Where you at? Okay. Look at the blackboard or the blue board. What do you think?
I think the general area is fine. That kind of area where I'm at, I just need to
I
go a
agree.
little bit more towards the supports.
You got it. Because
So
right
now I
now
don't
you're
have
playing
to just
Sniper
being
Tracer,
killed.
right? Just get a little closer here. You should be okay. Yep, you got it. Unfortunate. Just panic. I have a feeling that this is not going to go well. Oh, look at me. My feelings are all off. I doubt you, and you pop off again.
Well, no, the problem is you're doubting me, which is fair. It's the other teammates that you need to be keeping an eye on. I'm telling you, I'm the low player. It's the other two, my friends, that are probably keeping this going.
All right, let's see what you got. Yeah. You see, I can feel the wheels turning.
Slowly.
Slowly.
It's like a water wheel. It's just like getting
It's
there
like,
eventually.
it's like a water wheel in a drought. But we're getting there, I guess. It's fine.
Hello, scary lady.
All right, you're doing fine.
Go away, please.
You're doing fine. Doing fine. Good. Nice little bit of tracking there.
Genji's being bullied.
Okay. This is all good, by the way. You shot tank, and then they contested you, so you shot the DPS, and then you're like, all right, well, now I got a pulse. Let's make something happen here.
My
Genji's
friend is playing the Genji, and he was like, they're both chasing me. I am sad. And I was like, yeah.
Beautiful. 2v1, 2v1, 2v1.
The mini, yeah. At this point, I was like, I'm not sure what to do.
Check this out. Check this out.
Now I'm just upset.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
I mean, I went for a medkit, so that's like something. I just went for the one that kills me.
Right. We're evolving here. It's good. It's good. Okay. Let's finish. Let's try and finish the VOD here. You got time to finish the VOD? I know we're running a little over, but let's try and finish the VOD.
I have as much time as you do.
All right. Now you find out why we were so late for this one. All right.
Yeah, here I was like, I'm not sure where I should be.
No
so I was like, okay,
you be here. Do it.
Now that confused me. I was like, did she translocate out? What happened? Oh yeah, fear me. Oh, don't fear me, I'm livid. No. Because I thought she left. I didn't realise that she... Because I saw that animation, I was like, oh, she left, so like I'm not going to worry about her being behind me.
Yeah, you got it. This is fine. Because think of it this way. It's a 1-for-1, but then also you're distracting the supports a little bit too. Good. And this is okay. Like, you're not playing this like mechanically brilliant, right? But this is fine.
I think it's especially at this point, I'm like, yeah, you know when you're playing and you're like, I feel I'm getting sloppy. I feel that I'm just like, it's like, it's Betty Buys time for me.
Yeah,
I should
exactly.
be playing Overwatch now.
Exactly. This is just a situation where, like, for you to peek here, I prefer you to be peeking from here, so that in case she starts to mess you up, you can just blink, grab the mega, and continue to pressure from this angle, right?
Yeah.
That's
the mega I do know about.
Right. This is
all the other ones. I'm like, oh.
Right. This is like an okay engage. It's just like you just didn't have the resources to make that work. And then your team ends up fumbling the bag, and then where GGs go home. Let's take some notes. And this is crucially not new concepts, but things that you have to apply yourself to, I beg of you. What needs to be practiced?
So I think that I'm able to make good decisions. I just need to make them in time. So there are certainly instances where I need to make stuff happen faster, not just good decisions. It needs to be more than that.
Focus on one type of decision in the moment to improve the speed, accuracy. Examples of decisions and things you need to be thinking about. What needs to be thought about?
Positioning before the fight begins.
Positioning, angles before fight begins. What else? That was the vast majority of what we talked about, of course. But what else?
I think there were some instances where I went in when my time was a bit off.
Timing with team occasionally a bit off.
Thinking of that time when I was on the high point and Genji messed me up.
Yeah.
I think something that did come up a couple of times is having more intelligent disengages, because some of my disengages were just getting me killed, and I wasn't aware of some of the megas that were around the map, where I could have survived if I had better awareness of what was kind of going on, like blinking to that mega with that
got it.
Sombra on third point, things like that, or not blinking through the team, which I know I shouldn't do, but when I'm in danger, brain turns off.
How about this? Blinks for duels. Blink, make them move crosshair. You shoot, they shoot, you blink, rinse and repeat.
Can I ask a silly question?
Please, yes.
So when it comes to the blinks, if I do that little song and dance with the Kiriko there, and I go blink, shoot, blink, shoot, blink, shoot, assuming she dies, she almost certainly won't because she teleport, because that's what Kirikos do. If I then just get killed because someone's noticed, oh, the Tracer's used all of the blinks, she's now sitting dark, I can just go in and kill her, and I die because of that. Should I just be like, hey, that's just part of the course?
So repeat the question one more time.
Sorry. So let's say I was doing that little song and dance with the Kiriko, where I'm supposed to be like, blink, shoot, blink, shoot.
Yes.
An enemy then looks at me and goes, oh, Tracer's used all of her blinks, I can just go in and kill her, and I die as a result. Should I kind of look at that and be like, it is what it is? I've used my blinks to engage with the Kiriko. I've then won that fight, whether she's died or teleported out. if then someone dives me, then I die. Do I just accept it for what it is?
You accept it for what it is, but also keep in mind that we gave you a very unnuanced idea. If you're fighting a 2v1, you're not quite as aggressively taking that 1v1. Does that make sense? You're more poking, prodding, distracting, and so on. Like you're not fully committing. Maybe you're saving a blink or two in your back pocket just in case you need to escape. What we wanted to be focusing on is in the strict 1v1, how do you use your blinks? But yeah, there's obviously exceptions, yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I'm just thinking if I apply this and then I immediately die afterwards, a part of me might be like, well, if I've immediately died afterwards, have I done it wrong? Because like if I don't know, for whatever reason, like the Genji or the Sombra, like notices and then they come back to then kill me, I should be like, it is what it is. Like that's fine. That's all I'm thinking of, just to like prepare myself mentally. Because if that does happen, then I should be like, well, that's what they do. I shouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't be doing it regardless anyway.
We're okay with you trying to like implement hard rules and not exactly studying the nuance as much, because right now that's what you need. Like you're drowning in nuance right now, but you're not taking good angles, right? You're drowning in nuance. You're not taking good angles, and you're not blinking to dodge damage. So if the level 3 nuance of, you used all your blinks in a 1v1 and then turned into a 2v1 and then you lost, okay, fine. We'll cross that road when that becomes a major problem. But for right now, get comfortable with using your blinks in a 1v1.
Yeah, I think that sentence almost summarizes up everything. I'm just drowning in the nuance when it's like the fundamentals are being applied in a way that is acceptable. But if the fundamentals are just tuned up a lot more and just not get caught up in the details and just see the forest through the trees,
you're exceptionally intelligent. You're exceptionally intelligent and exceptionally bad at the game. Kind of joking here.
Wait, whoa. Hey, yo.
Actually, technically, statistically, you're average. You're average. Gold 4, gold 3, I think, is smack dab in the nose in average. So you're basically in the median right now, or the mean. So you're fine. But I just had to, I had to say my phrase, exceptionally intelligent. But it wouldn't have hit quite as hard if I'd said you're exceptionally intelligent and average. Okay, maybe average would have been okay. You got to bear with me though. Everything is poetry,
I think I'm actually, technically speaking, slightly below average. I think, but like a hair.
Slightly below average, yes.
So,
yes. But again, slightly below average just sounds awful. This is not near as fun.
Take those victories so we can find them? ?
That's right. Yeah, all right. Any other questions? That was a good one.
Honestly, no. Unless you have anything you want to input. We've covered a lot, and yeah, I